Lori here, and I'm here to make another recipe for you guys. I'm a little late on the waffle bandwagon. I just finally purchased a waffle maker, so I'm gonna use this today for today's recipe. If you guys don't have a waffle maker, this was like 22 bucks at Best Buy. It's Cuisinart. If you do not have a waffle maker though, you can still stay tuned because this recipe can simply be made into a delicious pancake if you'd like. But I'm kind of on that waffle game right now. So today what I'm gonna make for you is a pumpkin gingerbread protein waffle. So what I'm gonna use for my protein today is pumpkin pie, but you could truly use like Cinnagram would taste awesome, or vanilla. I'd probably stick to like caramel, some of the lighter flavored ones. That way the gingerbread flavors that we're gonna put in there can somewhat take over and be the main flavor there. But I'm gonna use 1 full scoop of my pumpkin protein here. Don't forget, you guys can get all your goodies at tigerfitness.com using my link in the description box. That helps me out a bunch. And there's a ton of new stuff coming from MTS, so you're gonna wanna get some of the new goodies. Now for flour today, I'm gonna use coconut flour, and I like to weigh this out because if you measure it out, it ends up being significantly different than if you weigh it. So 2 tablespoons is 14 grams. So we're gonna just use 2 tablespoons of this. And if you don't have coconut flour, you guys could use oat flour, whole wheat flour. You could really sub in there any kind of flour you want. Almond meal flour. It'll work, I swear. Don't be scared. For sweetener, you guys know I like Splenda. I'm gonna add in 2 tablespoons of this, but depending on your sweetness and what you use and like, you can modify this. It's not a deal breaker. And make this super simple for all our other seasonings. You're gonna need a 1/2 teaspoon. So we're gonna add in 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of ground nutmeg. These are all basic spices you guys can find at any grocery store. I suggest going to Walmart. It's a ton cheaper to get like these are super cheap ones. That way you're not spending a ton of money on seasonings. And I got ground ginger. So this is really essential to this recipe to kind of add in that gingerbread flavor. I picked this up at Trader Joe's, but again, you can find it anywhere. And it was only a couple bucks. So again, a 1/2 teaspoon. And baking powder. This is gonna help it to rise a little bit. Which isn't like critical in a waffle. It's still nice to have them a little bit fluffier. And then I don't usually measure out sea salt, but I do like to add in a little bit, like 1/4 of a teaspoon. That was probably 1/8 of a teaspoon, but just a little bit kind of helps bring all those flavors together. So that is all our dry ingredients. Now for the wet ingredients, I've got measured out here, just using these Lazy Girl liquid egg whites. If you just have whole eggs laying around, use 2 whole egg whites. But I'm using the equivalent of 2 large eggs for the egg whites. And some people have asked me on here, well, why don't you use egg yolks? They're good for you. It's totally cool. You can throw in the egg yolks if you want. Not a big deal. I'm just looking to keep the fat somewhat lower on this recipe, but it's not to say the egg yolks are bad for you. So the next thing we're gonna add here is pumpkin, and we're gonna add 1/4 of a cup of pumpkin. Pure pumpkin. This should be a staple. You guys watch me enough now to know this I use in tons of recipes because you can use it in place of fat. And then the pumpkin, actually for how much you use, still keeps it fairly low carb, adds a great source of vitamin A and some fiber to it as well. So it's kind of like a superfood to have on hand is pumpkin. I use it all year round. All right, so 1/4 a cup of that. And then the last thing here, forgot we're gonna add also a 1/2 teaspoon, if I can get it open, Gaines. All right, I got it. 1/2 teaspoon of your pure vanilla extract. Now, I've got some cashew milk sitting out here. Not sure if I'll need it. I'm just gonna kind of whip this up first and see what my consistency is looking like. And then what we're gonna do is just add a little bit of milk as needed to kind of get more of a batter type consistency. probably just add in a little bit. I don't want it too liquidy. We also don't want it too thick. So let's try a little bit, mix it up. While I'm doing that, I'm just gonna plug in my waffle maker here because it kind of has to preheat. And at this stage, what I'd recommend doing too is get your pan preheated on the stovetop. If you're doing pancakes, they'll cook better if you're putting them on a hot pan. So get that going. All right. So this is, can you see this? So this is kind of the like waffle-like consistency I'm looking for. And now that that's, you just want to make sure everything's blended in nice and good. I like to take the spatula on the sides here, whip it around. We're good to go. And once the waffle maker is preheated, it's going to give me a little green light. Easiest way to do this is to take a half a cup, and we're just going to spoon a half a cup on for one waffle. All right, so I've got about a half a cup filled here. This should make about 2 waffles. Just going to pour that right on the center of the waffle maker, and then spread it out. And then my waffle maker will tell us when that one's all done. All right, guys, so in a matter of a couple minutes, you've got 2 large waffles out of that recipe. So it's up to you if you want to share them. Our macros are pretty good. You can eat them on your own. And then you can top these however you want. For gingerbread, you could do some kind of protein frosting on top if you like, using MTS Cinnagram, or you could definitely add drizzle of maple syrup, sugar-free maple syrup, peanut butter, you name it. So hope you guys give this recipe a try and like it. If you do, please hit that thumbs up and go subscribe to my channel if you don't already.